This is El Punto de Escala, a podcast by Web My Money. So today is a special edition here in English to interview our special guest, Milan. Milan, it's really nice to have you here. It's a pleasure. I was very anxious to this moment to have this talk with you. And I hope everybody here also enjoy. We're going to talk a little bit about yourself, about your experience, but also, and the main point here is talk about AI automation. Ilan, can you talk a little bit about yourself to introduce yourself?
First of all, I want to say thank you for having me and thank you for hosting this special episode in English. So as you might already know, my name is Milan and I am an AI and automation architect, or at least that's what I want to call myself. And I have a background in engineering. I have a bachelor's degree, which I use that knowledge and that experience to look at businesses as systems that can be optimized. That's how I approach my work. That's how I view businesses. And since I started working with AI and automation a couple of years ago, I feel like this type of work has really clicked with me. I have really found myself into this work. I realized that this type of work really fits the way I think, the way my brain works. And I believe that this is the skill that I'm going to continue to polish in the next years.
Very, very nice, Milan. Very good to hear about you, about your experience. And how long are you working with automation? But how long are you working with that? Because there is a lot of people that doesn't know about that.
It's a bit difficult to pinpoint the right moment where I pivoted towards automation. But first, I started with AI in general. So as most people, I first started using chatbots when ChatGPT came out or when Gemini came out. And I used to be a video editor and a marketer before. And AI here helped me craft scripts for videos. It helped me come up with video editing ideas. And later, when image generation and video generation models started developing, I used these AI models to help me generate assets that I then used into my creations. But then about maybe 2 years ago, give or take, is when I discovered make.com. I discovered N8N. This was inside of the Real World University, the one that Andrew Tate owns. I am still a part of that university. And when they launched that new campus, this is where I first learned about, and it really clicked with me. And this is when I went deeper inside of automation and I basically stopped doing video editing or anything else that I was working on at that time because I really felt like this whole skill really clicked with me.
Is awesome. Is an incredible sensation, an incredible feeling when it happened, right? I mean, during the college, during the graduation, you should usually have contact with so many disciplines, content, and when it happened to make this click, this connection with you, is a really good thing, you know. So let's talk about AI automation. Is the main topic, and I'm really, really curious to talk about this with you. For
Of
anyone
course.
who is the new to the topic, what is the difference between regular automation for you, of course, and AI driving automation? What is actually changed, for example, for a business owner or for the reality of the work?
That's a really interesting question. And the way I see it, traditional automation is it's very deterministic. It's almost like a series of if this happens, then do this. And with traditional automation, you really need to basically map every single workflow and every single process that you want your system to be able to complete. And with AI automation, this is where these systems can handle ambiguity. So you basically define a goal for that system, and the AI that sits inside of this system is able to use its own reasoning, its own judgment, to be able to steer that workflow towards the goal and the instructions and the limitations that the user or the creator of that system has set up upon it. This is basically how I view the difference between traditional and AI driven automation.
The fact that you can have it look like a professional AI working for you to decide what is the best way to what you need to do to achieve the goal is amazing. It's make all
Exactly.
the job make easier. But it's also you need to take care and to pay attention about the hallucinations, right?
Yes, of course. Hallucinations do exist with AI, and risks also do exist. From my experience, hallucinations used to happen quite a lot up until maybe a few months ago, or maybe until last year. But this year, from what I'm seeing, AI has really improved in terms of
Exactly.
hallucinations. And what I work with mostly and what I love mostly, which is Claude, it's really good at adhering to the user's instructions. And while it's still AI, it still makes mistakes. This is where humans come into play, where we basically need to steer AI like almost like we're steering a ship, and
Exactly.
really monitoring what it does, because if we just unleash it unmonitored, it might just cause more issues than it actually helps us.
Exactly. I really hear about the workflows, the regularity of the work in the last few months with the AI. But it's curious because people really that AI don't make any mistakes. I think that people trust most in AI job than a regular human, for example, because everybody can make a mistake, even an AI. But I think that
Of
people
course.
have more. I hope that and hope in the promise that AI can substitute a human and don't have any mistake, work 24 by 7, and everything is gonna be perfect.
Everyone makes mistakes. We as humans make mistakes, and even the machines make mistakes, which may come surprising to some people. AI also makes mistakes, but if we combine both of our efforts, I believe that we can achieve a result with way less mistakes than any of us, whether the humans or the machines,
Exactly.
could achieve on their own.
Totally, totally. And also achieve more goals, achieve more fast, much more fast the job. AI reality and the AI contribution is amazing in all the cases.
I mean, that's one of the most attractive things about AI for most people is the speed and the velocity with which it works, the rate it creates images or creates blog posts or videos, or the speed that it types code. It's way faster than any human is currently able to do, at least
Exactly.
as far as I know. And that's one of the most attractive things about AI.
But I have a question about that, Milan. Every type of automation is able to be implemented or improved by AI around or inside a business, for example?
How I usually look at this is I like to ask myself a question like which process is ready to be automated. And how I look at this is I would first look at the current process, the that would be a current manual process, and I would look at how that process is currently being performed by humans and whether that process is even established, whether that workflow even functions the way it is currently. Because one of the biggest misconceptions is people just go and try to automate everything, which can include automating broken processes, which just amplifies the errors and the mistakes and
Exactly.
the brokenness of the process. So that's one of the main factors I look at when deciding what process to automate is whether that process is already established. Some other factors that I look at is I would look at processes that are currently really high volume and highly repetitive. These processes are usually very worth it to be considered for automation. And a couple of limiting factors when considering automation is whether whether these processes can be accessed by the computer, by the machine, by the AI. What that would mean is, for example, we would look at the tools that we are currently using, whether that's Google Sheets or a CRM like Go High Level or any other tool. And these tools need to have exposed an API endpoint and an API key so we can actually wire them up together inside of the system. Because if these tools are not really accessible by the machines, then it really makes our lives really hard to be able to
Exactly.
automate these processes.
And also you have to take care about the security of the system, right? I mean, which type of data are you giving access to the AI?
Security is really important, especially in the age of AI, where if you're not really being careful, you can really compromise the security of the system or the entire company or even clients' information and anything that's sensitive that lives inside of our systems. There are a couple of things that we can do here in order to ensure that we don't make any mistakes and that we don't expose the system. And some of these things include properly storing the API keys. So instead of hard coding the keys inside of the code, we would store the keys as environment variables or in any secret managers so that no key is ever exposed. And I would also say properly testing the system, and if we are using AI for development, we need to ensure that the AI didn't expose any key while it did its work, basically.
Really good point. Exactly, Milan. I mean, and also as a AI in automation architect, you can also control and try to manage all of these factors to achieve a goal, to achieve a good automation system or good pipeline, good funnel automation, right? But those things make me think about how much care we need to take to manage all the things related to AI when we don't have knowledge about that. I mean, because every nowadays it's so much easier to take a tool that promise you everything, promise you the world. You can create a new startup, a new unicorn with a couple of minutes, but you know also need to think about all the process you also need to think, to orchestrate all the process, all the information that you are going to manage in all the process. That is so big, and that's why it's so important your paper, your role here.
I mean, in today's day and age, there are a million tools that exist that allow people to explore their imagination and build whatever they feel like building. But building something like a prototype and building an actual production system that's robust and that's going to work is a whole different level of builds. You can spin up a tool like Cloud Code or Lovable or Cursor, and you can type one or two prompts, and it gives you an application or a tool, but it's not as simple as that most of the time. And building an actual production system that you can integrate inside of the business, this entire work requires multiple levels of software and engineering that a lot of inexperienced people are not even aware of and do not even consider. And even myself, I'm still learning a lot of these things and a lot of these layers, and I am improving myself every single day. And even I haven't still reached a point where I understand everything, but I am at a point where I am aware that a lot of learning and a lot more goes into software development and automation development. I was telling you about how in today's day and age, people there are a million tools that exist on the market, and people can spin up an automation or a system or an application in a matter of minutes or hours. But what most people don't really understand is that a lot more goes into developing and architecting a production ready application that you can install into a business and that's actually going to work properly without, of course, exposing any business secrets or any client secrets, and tool or an application that's actually going to work as expected. I also mentioned that even in today's day, I am only aware of what levels exist in architecting a proper production application, but I am still learning all that is inside of developing a proper application. And that's what most people are not even aware of. And they believe that they can just open a Claude or Cursor or Bolt and just spin up an application quickly, which is going to solve all of their problems.
The reality is usually by far the thing that people think that should be or it's gonna be when you use things related to AI. But is what are you talking about that we need to start to implement, to start to prove, to understand the tools that we are using? We need to understand all the process and maybe take some mistakes on the process, not maybe not to apply directly in your main pipeline or something really important to your business because it can have some damage, but also has, as told our last guest, Henry, that we need to use our curiosity. We need to understand a little bit about the tools we need to use in our daily routine for something more simple. And once you understand all the tools of the possibility, you try to advance and take some new uses. And we also try to have some different uses for the tool
Of
or
course.
about the process.
Of course, I mean, a lot of people forget about actually properly testing what they have built, and some people are just very eager to throw their automation inside of their business, inside of their pipeline, inside of their systems without really properly testing the automation, which oftentimes results in unexpected issues, unexpected problems, and their clients might just get disappointed or angry that so testing is one of those things that a person should not take for granted and do it properly. And what I also wanted to mention is that in the age of AI, the qualities that are going to separate us humans is what you also mentioned, curiosity, for example. So us people need to be really curious. There are lots of tools and lots of developments coming out, and the ones who the ones who differentiate are the ones who are curious, who are exploring, who are keeping their minds open to the possibilities, and some other qualities that are going to separate people from one another is
Mhm.
is being able to think out of the box, being able to see the big picture, being creative and coming up with solutions that AI could potentially not even think about, and the ones who know how to manage and to guide and to use AI. I view as a really fast car, like a Ferrari, and it can drive really fast, it can sound really good, it looks really good, but what it needs is a driver who's going to sit in the driver's wheel, or maybe even just to set up the navigation so that the car can at least drive itself.
Totally, Milan. I mean, it's make all the sense. I think that is a really smart comparison between that, and totally you're still in the control, so we can also decide when is the real moment to apply the AI for our process, what is the moment to implement a tool or not, and also how to use that in our process. And the technical skills of the driver makes total difference for the way of the car or the technology will drive your business. And also, you can also contract marketing agents or system agents like us, for example, like Web My Money, to apply to your business and helps everything. I mean, people and business owners, the community in this moment need to understand that there's different type of people, different type of levels of understanding of knowledge about AI, and there's no problem. So if you want to apply to your business and need some help, we can help us.
Of
We can
course.
help you. I see that you really understand to really take care to understand to improve your skills about AI, about AI driven automations. What type of tools are you using actually, and what is the do you think that is the next steps of those technologies and about AI automations?
That's an interesting question. I use numerous tools depending on the type of project that I'm working on, the type of system that I'm working on, and the type of business or the type of client that I am working with. So this can be tools like make.com or N8N or Zapier, which are low code or no code visual tools where you can just drag and drop and connect modules together and also install AI as well. And these tools allow you to map automations relatively easy, relatively quickly. And these tools have connections to a bunch of outside tools. Almost any tool that you can imagine that you're using on your computer, it can probably be connected and orchestrated inside of a make or N8N scenario. Other tools that I'm using, some businesses operate on top of Go High Level, Web My Money is one of those businesses that use Go High Level heavily. And I work in Go High Level creating all sorts of automations. For one of our clients, I recently designed and architected an entire CRM that consists of more than 50 workflows, all interconnected to each other. One workflow feeds the other workflow. It transfers the data. It works across maybe 10 pipelines. It utilizes who knows how many email templates, and for the things that Go High Level cannot natively do, I still use to make that com or Zapier to do things that Go High Level, for example, cannot do natively.
to amplify all the possibilities.
It really depends on what's the goal and what the system actually needs, or make cannot do what we want to do. I have also started to explore custom codes. So I have started what a lot of people call it vibe coding, or just AI assisted coding, where I use tools like GitHub Copilot, Cloud Code to develop custom applications for or work inside of already existing custom applications. And there are also a bunch of other possibilities and tools, like for generating images, generating videos, or tools for creating voice or chat agents such as Vappy or VoiceFlow or tools like that.
This is amazing, Milan. So many possibilities is almost limitless.
You can build almost anything. The limitation is mostly our imagination and our creativity. As long as we have those qualities and some determination and a few skills, we can build almost anything we can we can imagine.
It's amazing to live that like that, and also have this possibility to learn all these tools about all these technologies, and also have a support of people like you to apply to our business. So Milan, just to finish, I would like to say thank you once again because of your acceptance to your participation here. I hope you come back so we can have another special edition here in your podcast. It was an honor, and I hope to everyone that is our listeners in the other side that you enjoyed this meeting, enjoyed this conversation. This is El Punto de Escala, the scale point of Web My Money.